Hi, my name is Ingo from Brave Rabbit. If you're coming from another 3D app and getting your feet wet in Blender, you might have stumbled upon how parenting and hierarchies work on this side of the fence. In particular, how to read transformation values, because this is something not very obvious. And since a small but very important part changed since version 3.2, this might be interesting for you even if you have been using Blender for a while. To jump right in, let's take a look at this scene. I have a couple of mechanical parts which have a functional relationship to each other. Currently, this axle fitting is parented to this carrier element. If we check the transformation values, we have something for the location and rotation, nothing special. But the question is, what do these values mean? In most applications, there's the differentiation between world and local coordinates, meaning either we see the absolute world position of the object, even if it's within a hierarchy, or we see the relative position to its parent. In Blender, there is no such thing. So we have to either know or guess. Let's see. If I reset the location values to 0, the object goes back to the world center. No problem. Let me grab these values and keep them as a reference. Let's take this carrier object and move it a bit to the side. If I now select the fitting, we should have updated location values, because we just learned that the world position gets shown, right? Well, no. The values are still the same, so something is not updating. And the best part is that if I now reset the location of the object, it's no longer placed at the world center, just because we moved the parent. And to top it off, let's take a look at predictability. We can see that the fitting is nicely aligned with some rotational values. Maybe we even add a slight Z rotation, nothing to worry about, right? Let's parent the arm to the fitting and then choose Object. In this case, it doesn't matter if we keep the transform or not. Now, if I tweak the location of the arm, we can see that the arm translates in relation to the world axis. But since the object has an arbitrary rotation in space, I'm not able to translate in a predictable way. In a nutshell, you never can be sure what the displayed values really are and what happens when you change them. And this especially doesn't help in situations where you're depending on knowing the values. So, how to fix this? Fortunately, and I think we have to be forever grateful for this, Brad Clark from Rigging Dojo took a stand and fought for the sanity of all riggers and animators. Thanks, Brad. Since version 3.2, there's no way to set up parenting without any of these side issues. Unfortunately, it's not obvious and looks like just another option. Granted, it probably cannot be made default as it would break other things, and therefore we're doing this nice tutorial to grab your attention. Alright, let's do everything again but the right way. And to start correctly, I first unparent the fitting by clearing the parent and keeping the transformation. Let's keep a copy of the current world values as a reference. Now, I want to parent the fitting to the carrier. Select the fitting and the carrier as normal. Then Ctrl-P to bring up the parent menu, and here it is. Object, keep transformation without inverse. That's the new one, wasn't there before. If I now select the fitting and check the values, we can see that they are actually different. These now represent the relative offset to the parent object's pivot. So basically, these are the local values. And this is so much of what we want and need. Let's do it again. Parent the arm to the fitting. Notice that they have their pivots in the same location. Okay, parent, object, keep transformation without inverse. Selecting the arm now shows us that the location is practically 0. The small values can be ignored as these are normal float precision errors. You can null these if you want. So, why is it 0? Because the child's position matches the parent's position. This makes the relative offset 0. And I can even move the carrier, offset the arm, move the carrier again, and then reset the location of the arm, and it's in perfect position as before. Nothing magical about it. And the best thing? I can even rotate the fitting, and by changing the positional values of the arm, it moves in a predictable way along its local axes. One thing left to note is, along with the new parenting option, a new command has been added to the Apply menu. And that's for the case when you have an object parented not following the outlined workflow, and the transformation values are neither world nor local. Simply select your object and from the Apply menu select Parent Inverse. Again, not obvious, but this also lets your transforms appear as expected. So, either you do your parenting with object, keep transform without inverse, or you can sanitize your transforms with apply parent inverse. And that's about it. Nice and easy. Maybe not really obvious, but it sure helps to work cleaner and more organized. Check it out. I'm sure it'll come in handy. If you want to know more about the new implementation, make sure to check out the discussion via the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Cheers!